think we're on. Do you want headphones? Are you good?
Hang on. I had...
Howdy. We're going to be J-chatting while playing FTL today. FTL is a game about... FTL standing for Faster Than Light. Is a game about traveling through space.
FTL.
And being in a spaceship. I only got 2 spaceships available to me because I'm not incredibly great at this game. So we got here we got Drakozar. I'm gonna rename that to where did my mouse go? I'm gonna name this to
Can you name it Where Did My Mouse Go?
Diego. It's me. And yeah. I'm gonna edit, customize this one. Rename this to Ronan you. I'm gonna name this one. Rename. Yeah. Justin, yeah.
Okay.
Houston.
So here
That
we
was
have
my
Houston.
name in the old country.
So we're still gonna be talking shop in some form this stream, but mostly just sort of synthesizing, going back over what we feel we have learned from playing Meatpunks, and especially playing Meatpunks in the specific format in which we've played it, sort of a victory lap, while we just sort of jam to FTL. I don't know how long the stream's gonna go. Probably until this spaceship explodes.
Heather is in the chat.
Hi, Heather.
Let me remember. Okay, so I'm gonna put this at easy because I'm bad at this.
Because you're a coward.
Fine, we'll put it in normal and then I'll just die.
Because you're a coward.
It's true. I really am. Do I have any money that I start off with? Or nah? Looks like nah. So let's just launch into it. So we're carrying data, and we're here to take this data from where we are in the linear galaxy, pretty much, into sort of the center. As we get further and further into sort of enemy territory and being chased by opposing forces of all kinds. This is kind of Star Warsy in that we are, a resistance against the colonizing empire.
Star Wars?
Star Warsy.
Yeah, that's the name.
Dancing with the Star Wars.
Yep. No, it's only by last name. This is atrocious.
Wait,
Can I rename them?
So then what are our ship names now?
It's just you, yeah, and me.
This is very abstract for a ship, please.
Hey, you, go over there.
Yeah, you's gonna...
Yeah, or use?
Use.
Oh god, this is so... Oh no.
Use, guys.
We just stick with it.
So
Stick
yeah is... I can't change it. Yeah is going to be in the engine room. You is gonna be on the guns. And Diego me is gonna drive.
Wait, I'm on guns?
I don't know. I don't know who you are.
Use on guns?
Wait, is this gonna be like Who's on First? Who's on First but in space?
Yeah.
No.
Did Abbott and Costello ever go to space? Donate to our Patreon and we'll do a commentary of Abbott and Costello go to space. That perennial classic.
Okay, so as you can see in this screen, we can hop to different space things, and the exit is over here. We can immediately go to something in distress, and we're going to do that because that's the kind of people we are.
Sweet.
We follow the distress beacon to a small asteroid belt. You find a small ship struggling to maneuver towards the field. They message you, "Help! Our shields are down, and I don't know how much longer we can last." So we can try to shield their ship with ours and escort them to the field, or leave them.
Try to escort.
Try to escort.
7 scrap. Yay. Oh, we got 7 scrap because their ship broke.
But you can't take your yay back.
Yeah, Yay's over here. In the engine room.
This is gonna be fucking who's on first.
I say we just sort of go towards towards the exit. Let's investigate. I like being curious. You land a small shuttle in an enormous field whose only occupants are small, brightly colored, 6-legged, horse-like animals. Could they be what your scans picked up? Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
So what are our options?
Try to communicate peacefully.
Go ahead.
Bring some of the creatures on board to sell, or leave.
Let's go peaceful communication. I've watched Arrival. I know how this works.
They just stare at you silently. As you prepare to leave, one of the creatures canters forward and forcefully nudges you away from the ship. He seems to want you to follow him. Eventually, the creature guides you to an old NG ship's crash site. Inside, you are able to find and reactivate an NG. Oh, cool. We got a person? We do. We got King. Where does King go? What is
an NG?
They're like robot people. This NG is going to work on shields.
If y'all let anything happen to him, I'm just leaving. I'm just fucking rovering away in protest.
Isn't rovering away that really important court case?
Oh my god. This was a fun stream, everybody. We'll see you never. It'll just be Diego talking about how he's lost all of his friends. After a terrible joke.
I don't think it was that bad. Oh, we should aid the civilian ship. So there are 2 ships within range. They seem to be engaged in battle. One of them has the markings of a space pirate. So let's aid the civilian ship, and while we are...
Can we team up with the pirate?
No, it's either aid the civilian ship or stay out of it.
Aid the civilian ship. I'm gonna say my ethics and morals are very strong until there's a possibility of interacting with pirates, in which case...
We are getting involved either way. The fact that one of the options is not be a pirate is merely a blip in our radar.
Okay, so what do we want to try and hit from theirs first? We have a couple of lasers that we have enough energy to spend to be firing both of them. And we can be aiming towards multiple things. There's the engines, their weaponry system, their pilot, their shields, or their oxygen.
What's like the least lethal thing we could do that's still gonna get them...
To fuck right out.
Yeah.
Let's do their weapons.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just select both of these to attack their weapons and unpause, and we'll be at it. Increases dodge chance. We need oxygen. We need that. Yeah, I think we're good. So at this point, there's not too much for us to do actively until things start to go bad. So you see, we were able to hit them a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
and right now they're sort of really trying to just disable our shields. So I'm gonna take. Oops. I don't want both out. I only want one out. I want Sun's out, guns left. That's fine. Oh, well, we're repairing those, so that's fine. It's all okay. It's all right. So if we got... Oh, jeez. Oh, that's on fire. Our oxygen's on fire. I've paused it really quick, so that way can go in and deal with the fire. Is that how that works? I feel like that's how it works.
Generally, fire on ship, not good.
Yeah. So there's another way to deal with that on the ship, which is a fun thing to do. Okay, actually, our pilot is also going to go back there and deal with that because we need oxygen to live. That's an important piece of it all. We're going to start taking a little bit of damage. If at any point we want to run. We just need the engines to be ready and the pilot to be in their ship, and we should be good. But other than that, oh geez, I haven't been firing my gun at them. That's been the problem.
Uh-oh.
Oh, more things are on fire. This is great. Okay. So Yas gonna go here. Diego's going to go here. You is going to go here. And y'all are going to fix that stuff up just really nice. Okay, so we've destroyed their weapons completely, which is nice.
So that means they
you
can't keep setting our stuff on fire, right?
Yes. Diego back to pilot. So next, yeah, we just want to keep firing on that. This battle would have gone so much better if I could remember to continue firing my weapons. So let's start talking about what we came here to sort of talk about. This is a post-Ludum. This is a post-Ludum conversation about season 1 of Extreme Meatpunks Forever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go sort of off of the base assumption that ethically what we're going to want to do while playing this game is generally be peaceful, exploration, aid-driven options.
Except in cases of space pirates.
Most of the aid-driven options are going to be in terms of fighting space pirates. I'm sorry to tell you this.
This is a huge conflict within me.
Oh.
I like space things.
Do we welcome someone aboard our crew or decline their request? This is someone from a civilian ship.
Yeah.
We would welcome them aboard?
Yeah. We're obviously super safe, and we always fire our weapons on time.
Uh-huh.
So they'll be great.
They'll be completely safe.
So this person, I'll put this person. Where should they go? In weapons and oxygen, just sort of floating around.
Let's have somebody in oxygen. Oxygen, as previously established, very
it's the
important.
safest part of the ship.
So as you can see now, there's this warning behind us of a path that we need to make sure we are clear of. So we've got to mosey on pretty fast. Yep.
Can I say a thing about Meatpunks?
Of course.
That this game is making me think of right now. So this game, yes, involves sort of slow Oregon Trail style choices of like, here's this event, what do you do about it? But also involves lots of fairly instantaneous, clicky choices about what do you fire at, etc. How does one make sure that the choices in a game have weight to them? Because one of the things that I really liked about Meatpunks is it felt like it genuinely mattered, outside of pure mechanics, who you had piloting the mech at any given time. Like, it wasn't just, oh, we want to play as Brad or Liana or whoever because we like the way they play, we like the way they handle. It feels right in this moment for Liana to play or Brad to play or etc.
Yeah.
So how do we make it so that choices in a game matter? Because, like, seeing you do a lot of this, you have to be a lot more instantaneous and deliberate than, or instantaneous and undeliberate than maybe sometimes we were in Meatpunks. Which, yes, has fast sections where you're punching, but is also generally slower than a game where someone is repeatedly going for your oxygen and you just gotta kill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, before responding to that, ask, it seems that you're considerably more well-armed than I would have thought. We surrender. So we either accept the pirate surrender, which I suspect is what you want to do, or we will not accept surrender and maybe keep at the fight.
I'm too biased to engage in pirate-related decisions at this point. I'm deferring to my good friend Ronan Ellis for all pirate-related matters until further notice.
I vote we accept surrender. Don't kick someone while they're down, unless they're a fascist.
I'm glad we did that because the moment that happened, a big thing hit our main engine and kind of took out our pilot crew place. So what I'm going to do right
Wait,
now...
did anyone die?
No. Luckily.
Also, like, intentional big thing or unintentional big thing?
It was a... intentional because it was a rocket they fired just before surrendering.
Can they not, like, autopilot their rockets back?
You fire a rocket and it just goes, you know? Where does you go? You goes here.
Hi. I also, that's like a thing in like Star Trek in like the reboots. It became like a big thing about like Captain Kirk does not lose his crew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like the thing about that is that visual storytelling wise, he lost his crew quite often.
Yeah.
So it was just
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to test something out real quick.
we pulled the actual Captain Kirk as opposed to just
Okay.
explosions.
So we need a good editor to make us look good and merciful.
Really cool. Okay, so do we want to try to go to a store right now, or just keep pushing forward to the exit? And we can keep pushing forward?
Keep going, keep going. We have
So-
no time for commerce. We're space explorers.
Small rebel ship is docked at a small station. You try to lay low, but it spots you. Power up the weapons. Oh no!
Wait. I thought we were a rebel ship.
I think it's the other way around.
Oh no.
So we're the colonizers?
No. I think that what's the words I'm thinking? It's rebels, as in sort of trying to invert the I'll say the Firefly deal of thinking of what them called. Because Firefly was based on
Like Lost Cause?
yeah.
Shit. I still have not seen Firefly all the way through. I need to.
I watched like the
So-
first episode and then there was a lot of sex.
Yeah, that is true.
And I was like,
The one Joss Whedon show that I still enjoy a lot, and maybe I haven't gone back to it in a couple of years, so it could be super problematic and gross. But it had some good episodes. Was Dollhouse with Eliza Dushku.
I don't know it.
The premise was really fascinating. So you had people, predominantly women, but also some men, who would rent themselves out for a specific amount of time, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, and get paid to essentially wipe their memories at the end of every night and then implant themselves with new memories in the morning. So a lot of people just use this for sort of sexual gratification reasons, but also you could implant memories of like a really good teacher if your district was underfunded, or there was one episode where a guy's wife died of cancer, so every year he reimplanted his dead wife's memories into a dollhouse doll. And there was a lot of really fraught sort of explorations of consent and sex and bodies in here that they only had 2 seasons, so they didn't really have a ton of time to go into, because it was still very much a mystery of the week show of like, oh, what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But when they did really sort of take being a doll as an intentional choice that someone made and really go through the logistics of that choice, I think it was a pretty good show. I don't know how I got onto that. Oh, Firefly through Joss. Okay.
Yeah.
Lost Cause. There we go.
Yep.
What happened to the rebel dude while I was yammering on?
Blew him up.
He died.
Yeah.
He's dead.
So do you want to go into pirate-controlled sector where we'll have to fight a lot more pirates, or do you want to go into an uncharted nebula?
I vote Uncharted Nebula. I don't want to.
Uncharted Nebula.
This is a pirate violence free zone.
So in terms of making choices and how to make that feel meaningful, I feel like a way that Meatpunk does that that really interested me, especially in conjunction with the conversation that I was having with my brother about the first Harvest Moon game, was in terms of sort of obfuscated design. Because there were a lot of moments where I felt like, oh, I know how video games tend to work, I know when things tend to be explicit, so I'm going to expect things to go this way, and I'm going to play it this way. But then that was challenged by the game itself and how it sort of brought up things that I wasn't expecting. I feel like one of the most overt things of this, and something that I alluded to on Twitter, or I guess I found out about on Twitter, was the final boss.
That, like, it sort of felt like the final boss, like, while playing it, it sort of felt, I say while playing, I was not playing, but, like, watching you play it, it felt like failure was not an option kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, or it felt, even though literally the entire game had been setting up, like, an if you die, you get to restart, and you, well, yeah, and you can, like, when you restart, you can change into a different character. Like, the entire game had been sort of setting that up, and then when we got to the end, I feel like we all sort of assumed, but also I feel like it felt like the stakes, storytelling-wise, were high enough that it was sort of it makes sense that we can't,
Yeah.
There's not going to be a do-over.
There's not going to be a do-over. There's, like, we can't do a do-over, or like some, like, Undertale thing where, like, a do-over is going to be, like, a thing in universe of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's going to be, like, high stakes. And, like, it was still high stakes while also letting us switch characters even if we didn't know that.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to, in regards to that, in terms of Cass's general character design, for me, oh good. I mentioned while playing it that Cass's special is about. I didn't phrase it this way, but I'm thinking about it now. It's like it's really about, like, sort of digging your heels in, and character-wise, just saying, this is what I have to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
This, like, I am essentially dedicated to doing this in this moment. Sorry, things are on fire. And make sure things aren't on fire elsewhere as well.
That's the metaphor I use when I'm like...
Oh, geez, things are on fire in there. Let me fix that. Oh, shit, fire's everywhere. This is very bad. This is incredibly bad. Oxygen's on fire too. Oh, man.
That's not what you want, though. That's like a bad.
Yeah.
You have to get out of there. King. No, King died. Oh shit. Fuck. Everything's
No,
bad.
not King!
Okay, wait.
We
you
knew
have to
him
go,
for all of 2 minutes.
You have to open these doors.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not sad that he died.
Fuck. This broke real bad. Now I'm gonna close these doors. I'm gonna close those two doors.
Close the pod bay
You-
doors.
Are gonna go in here. Hopefully by opening the doors to the outside world, yes, I've deoxygenated the fire, and so now it is back to healthy. Our oxygen systems are bad right now. So Cass's ability to slow down and stop momentum feels like, on a literal level, just like digging heels in
Yeah.
and saying I have to do this in this moment.
It's a
which
commitment,
is
yeah.
what I had to do in order to beat that boss as Cass.
And it's also very much part of Cass's like character story arc.
Yeah. It's a gameplay choice that's locking you into an emotive choice.
Yeah.
There's this philosopher, Iris Murdoch, who has this great essay in which she rips apart the trolley problem for about 30 pages.
Good.
And about how it tells us nothing about human existence or how human beings make choices. And the fact that philosophy is built upon this sort of weirdly drained, limp binary choice.
That also isn't even that binary, sorry.
What?
That also isn't even that binary.
Yeah. But then she goes into, well, if we can't use these artificially constructed either or choices to tell us about human beings, then like what can we use? Because we can't just stop investigating who we are as people. And what she comes to is that stories are a much better way of analyzing the various pressures on a human being at any given time than, straight thought experiment ethical choices are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can imagine yourself as Cass, it's better than presenting this as a dry philosophical problem of, you are a person who's trying to help your friends out. Do you dig your heels in and maybe not take care of yourself super well? Or do you fall back and rely on those friends? It's asking the same kind of question that a trolley problem type of thing could or would, but it's far richer and more complicated of a discussion because these are, at least we pretend that they're real things that are happening to real people that are part of really rich layered context and not just here are two abstract people tied to a train track.
Yeah, and also like you can, as Cass, like it also sort of demonstrates you can lean on your friends while still sort of not leaning on them, but like it's it's the Shinji Ikari.
Oh no!
Like
Oh no! Oh.
Where like you can lean on your friends by first and foremost leaning on yourself and knowing that like you have to do this work and sometimes you do have to just like dig your heels in, but you can still like you can get through it, and especially if you choose to dig your heels in and do that work, you can like you have people around you whose help you can accept and like that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Because that's like I have feelings about Neon Genesis Evangelion, but like that sort of end story beat is very important to me, as someone who, as a 14-year-old, made the same realizations that I feel like Shinji did at the very end, without being weirdly sexist.
Yeah, I think you can tell a lot about a person as to whether that sort of last end story beat in the PowerPoint presentation episode is important to them or not, or something that they just kind of ignore and quietly whistle past. But I want to respond to your thing a little out of field, but it's going to become relevant, I promise.
I feel like that's 90% of our conversations.
Yeah. So, Vox.com had this really good video out the other day. We can put it in description if we need to. Looking at the history of cops, not the profession, the TV show, where they, put live cameras on police officers that are involved with people, which is metamorphized over time into Live PD, which is currently the #1 DVR show in America. But
love that for
one
us.
of the things that they've uncovered is that the way that cops picks a city to work in, they actively look for police departments that have had a very high profile, very controversial officer involved killing of usually unarmed black folks,
god, this is going
to
very bad.
rehab their reputation, and so like 2 or 3 years after whatever their incident, their murder is, they'll bring the show cops in to like give people a perspective of what it's like to be on the ground or whatever, right, and rehabilitate their image.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they keep stressing is we want to show people that we have no choice, essentially. Whenever somebody calls us out for something, we want to bring cameras into here to show them, see, we have no choice. Like, it's so chaotic and so hectic that we have no choice in the matter. So
Yeah.
the reason why choice in narrative is so important to me is because once we start talking about real people, a lot of real people who would like to take advantage of you try to present things as we only had one choice, or we only had a binary choice between this terrible thing and that other terrible thing, when very rarely is that actually the case.
Yeah.
So when we build games that either have binary choices or lock you into one choice, we're also subtly reinforcing that that's the way things are like in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Which something like Cops can show us really well, of the reason that these people invite cameras into their police stations to rehabilitate their image is so that they can present their jobs as less voluntary than they actually are.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been talking I'm taking an abnormal psychology class, which is required for my psych major, but we finished up, the last 2 days were spent talking about mental health in the legal system, in no small part because that's mostly how we treat mental health in the United States, is we put very little money towards mental well-being in any other capacity, and then people usually get mental health treatment as a function of either being civilly committed, which is like part of the legal framework, or like going to prison.
Yeah, being incarcerated.
Yeah, which like learning the numbers behind it is also absolutely horrifying.
Well, numbers in general, absolutely horrifying.
I beg to differ, but okay.
You don't have to beg me to differ, you can just differ.
That was me trying to be polite about the fact that you're wrong.
When have you ever done that, though? Why are we starting this now? There are 2 weeks left in the semester. Ronan.
Oh, also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but we died.
Oh, I totally didn't. Hi, hello.
Didn't notice, but rip.
When and how did we die before we get into...
Did
we
go
went
far?
into rebel territory as opposed to pirate territory.
See?
As opposed to pirate territory.
We would have been fine with the pirates.
We
You
would
did.
have had to
You
fight.
voted against pirate territory.
Oh shit. They have a teleporter. We have to fight them. Oh fuck.
Wait, we have to fight them because they have a teleporter? Or we have to fight them and you just learned that they have a teleporter?
We have to fight this person because they have a teleporter.
Because they have a teleporter?
They teleport onto our ship.
Oh. Well, that's not really because they have a teleporter. That's
Yes, it
because
is.
they can't respect their boundaries, or our boundaries, really. They could have a teleporter.
Fuck him up. Socrates.
I have to be honest. I didn't know that meme existed until last stream, and now that's become just a thing that I say.
Does that mean that I introduced you to Daryl?
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Oh shit. Okay, that's a few things that are bad right now.
Can you give us an inventory of the things that are bad
fuck,
right now?
that's a few things that are bad right now.
I'm gonna be honest, this keeps sounding like my semester just like summarized.
So
Your semester had space pirates?
oh god,
No,
things
things
are on
are-
fire.
This
We're running out
Diego's
of
running-
oxygen.
Oh god.
We can't see what's happening at our own ship. Okay, so So right now we have J-Dog, we have D-Mate, and we have R-Dude.
I.e. a dude that uses R repeatedly.
Oh.
Yes.
Accept their offer of surrender.
That's true!
Things are all bad. Oh my god.
Again, Diego's narrative about this game is my narrative of this semester. But also, I'm gonna be honest.
I can't power the doors because the door room is bad.
The door room. Aaron Sorkin's The Door Room.
Oh god. Okay, I have to fucking. Oh shit. God damn it. Their ship blew up because of a solar flare, and now the shield room is on fire.
Well, but at least their ship isn't attacking us.
Oh well. Oh god. All of that's also on fire. Oh my god. Everything's on fire and everything is dying. J-Dog, don't die.
So,
Oh fuck.
did I just die?
No, you're probably gonna live. Unless the whole ship catches fire, Halt and Catch Fire, the movie, the ship.
That's a TV show, buddy.
The movie,
friend.
the ship.
So.
Okay, so we have to starve this place of oxygen. Oh shit, and this place too. Oh god damn it. You have to go through here. Oh fuck me. Okay, we have to close this, and then, we have to. Oh god.
Sometimes I'm really glad Diego's not a surgeon.
Yeah. Okay. Back to Meatpunks. One of the things that I think was really cool that we discussed was the solar flares keep happening.
Was when the bright kept going really bright and then really dark.
Is to do with the different language we were coming up with in term for accessibility.
Yes.
Oh god, now you're on fire. Go. Leave. Oh fuck me. Jesus Christ, stop blowing that up. Everything's so bad.
We were originally just gonna play Smash and have a nice relaxing time.
Yeah, but then the capture card funkiness. Oh god. Shit. Fuck. Don't die. For the fucking love of God, don't die.
I wonder if this is what my birth was like.
Did you die? Justin, you died!
Oh god!
Everyone's gonna die in space because we can't leave and the sun keeps killing us!
Oh god. Did we die?
All crew members have died. Your ship will continue to drift for eternity, or until looters destroy it. Score 62.
We didn't even get to the sex number! 62 is the foreplay number I have just decided.
Okay, I've restarted. So in terms of different terms of accessibility, we have, we talked about, like, audio-visual stuff. We talked about dexterity. I forget which one the dexterity one was. I'm a little frazzled by burning.
It's also been a while.
I feel like most people are frazzled by burning.
I remember we talked about like technical accessibility, and that was when we brought up like I think audiovisual stuff.
Yeah.
And then you can't do this. I have such bad attentional issues.
Making funny faces at Ronan.
And Ronan has really bad. And Ronan has really bad attentional issues.
See, look, I bet I can do this.
I fully didn't.
I want to try now.
I fully didn't finish the sentence about mental health and the legal system.
That's not important or anything.
That's fine.
No one needed that.
Hey, one more tangent. So we found a source of a distress call, a small research station. It appears a small laboratory fire got out of control and is threatening to destroy the station. Their fire suppression system is not responding. Here we have two options to help. So we can leave, or we can send our crew in a shuttle to help out the fire, or dock and try to rescue the survivors.
So I don't trust shuttles. We should do anything that does not involve shuttles.
You pull up alongside the station and cut through their hull. You are able to rescue a few survivors, but many more are lost. One of the survivors offers to join your crew and you offload the rest on a nearby station. 9 scrap. Oh, we have another NG.
You won't die this time.
You said NG as like the robots, right?
Yeah.
NG, get in the robot.
Oof.
No. And my hell brain just was like NG as in like engine.
Well, yeah.
You got
Like-
another
Is
NG.
there-
You got a functional NG.
Well, no, like by which I mean like Diego being cursed wants Sippy but NG.
Wait, now we gotta.
We explained. Oh no, we didn't explain Want Sippy. I just said Want Sippy on a stream before.
Yeah.
If you donate $5 on Patreon,
We'll
we'll personally
explain.
explain Want Sippy to you.
I don't even fully understand want Sippy. It just keeps happening and I keep being like,
Hey,
gross.
Hey, Ronan. Want Sippy?
No.
That's.
I've
We found a man living alone in a cave. From the appearance of his wrecked ship, it seems he's been in here for many years. He looks healthy,
Is it
but
Mumford
his
and
mental...
Sons?
There's only one person.
Is it Mumford?
one.
He looks healthy, but his mental state is questionable. Bring him back to your ship in hopes of finding some help for him, or leave the madman to his raving. He's not worth the risk. Help.
One.
Yes, 1.
We're not Margaret Thatcher, like.
Being back in space terrifies him. He goes mad and nearly blows a hole in the side of your ship with a makeshift explosive in an attempt to, quote, escape this mental prison. He dies in the explosion when we've taken hull damage. Well,
Wow.
thanks, game.
One of my issues with Black Mirror Bandersnatch, and this is one choice in one game, so I don't want to judge the entire game, but on the other hand, I've played the entirety of Bandersnatch, the Choose Your Own Adventure Black Mirror. None of the options which allow you to either help people or help yourself end well. There are good endings, but to get to the good endings, you have to do incredibly heinous things. So,
I'm also just generally really critical of the fact that when you, like, if you choose to take your meds, it leads you to your own undoing. Like,
but so
because medication is not for everybody, but to have that be the only way, like, to have that be the only option where, like, if you are attempting to practice mental well-being in taking your medication that has been prescribed to you, like if it isn't working and there's fully like a section in which you go to your psychiatrist and say this isn't working and your psychiatrist is a massive asshole and will not listen to you, like, I understand. And like then the choice to stop taking your medication, I'm like, yeah, that's a very like valid thing to consider. But if it's just a stop taking your medication, if you take your medication in any circumstance, it will lead to your death. I'm like, meh.
But the reason I brought up Bandersnatch is because that last choice felt to me very Bandersnatchy, in that it's taking advantage of your desire to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying no well-intentioned action should end poorly in a video game, because I think it's a very important historical lesson that deeply well-intentioned actions that are done in a bad way can hurt people. But when it's sort of the modus operandi of a game, and again, I don't know if it's in this one because we haven't played that much of this one, that every single altruistic action is just dumb and will lead to ruin, like, that's a moral choice that the developer / writer made.
And that's why I really like Meatpunks.
Yeah, thank you for making that relevant. Also, thank you for reading that in summer vacation book report cadence. Like,
What?
and that's how I spent my summer vacation. I really appreciated that part of it.
I usually call that the this has been our 4th grade play.
Yeah. There's this episode of Hey Arnold where they're doing a school play, and the only excerpt you ever hear from the school play, if I remember correctly, is them just singing, and that's the end of our play. You have no idea what it's about.
We actually just passed by a really interesting thing that I want to hold on to for a second.
Okay.
the sector that we were just in.
Sector.
I almost said section, but that's not the right words. But the sector that we just passed through, there is. We passed by a merchant who deals with. We're in rock-controlled territory, and it's like, oh, it's the rock people. He deals with the rock people, and he stops us, sees us, and is like, oh, it's taken me years to, like, gain their trust. I can't be seen with you. You nod and continue on your way. Mm-hmm. And I just think that that's an interesting little sort of.
Yeah. Do you want to delve into that like anthropologically? If you don't want to go down that tangent right now.
Yeah, I can.
I can ask you later, but I'm curious as to sort of the changing dynamics that people make when they embed themselves into a community that is not theirs.
Yeah. Shit, that's some cool stuff we could get.
Also, important disability update. For those of you with lateral supports on your wheelchairs, you can just perch a water bottle. Like, this is not going to come across in an audio format, but I assure you, it's extremely charming in real life. Just, like, never mind. It almost works. Wait.
It's good if want sippy.
I feel like a little hamster with just a water bottle hanging from the ceiling.
How do I sell it? Let me sell it.
I know you're not selling my water bottle.
No, the anti-personnel droid.
You're not selling a robot either.
I sold a robot. I couldn't control it. I literally don't have an ability to control a robot.
So you're just gonna sell whatever you can control?
Yeah.
It's the most monstrous garbage thing you've ever said. I remember, what's his face?
Oh, you do?
That guy that died, whose name I've already forgotten.
Cool.
That burned alive on our ship. The first dude.
King?
Yes. I remember what you did to King. That guy whose name I remembered.
Oh shit, there's an enemy robot on our ship.
How?
Maybe
they got mad
here.
because you sold their friend.
Oh, they're trying to fucking blow up our doors. No, I need those doors. Oh shit. I made mistakes. Bad mistakes, I've made a few.
I continue to make them.
Are you just gonna go full Sinatra in a second?
Well, I was veering off into the oh hellos, but
I always confuse the Oh Hellos and the Oh My's. Both good bands, but two very different bands.
yee. I'm a big fan of the oh hellos.
Oh god, we're running out of oxygen.
So, here's a narrative question that I have about Meatpunks. And if people don't see it as sufficiently juicy, we can move on to something else, but it's been stuck in my brain for a little bit.
Yee.
Why pull the move of embedding us so deeply in... Wait, you were going to do anthropology rock people.
Say your thing first.
Okay, so why pull the move of embedding us so deeply and tightly with sort of our main cast of Meatpunks, and then very consciously in sort of the last couple chapters widening that out to here's this whole other community. How does that play with audience expectation, with maybe the limits of empathy or conceiving of systems of people? I think it's just really super interesting that we're asked to empathize with this whole different group at the same time that we're really seeing our own group struggle and get their screws kind of twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think, like, we're gonna see our group struggle and get their own screws twisted no matter what. And it sort of became an issue of not, like, well, narratively, we've gotten to a point where the Meatpunks, like, the Sundown Meatpunks are stable. So now we're going to focus on the Hopeville Meatpunks. Like, I think that, like, when something shifts in how you have to look at the world, like, it does so with very little else changing for you sometimes. So, like, we're suddenly put in this other empathetic position, but like that doesn't mean that Cass stops having to deal with what Cass is dealing with.
Yeah.
Or like Sam and Brad stop doing their thing, which is how we get Moss and Brad. Stop! Justin is making the sex
Lewd
hands.
The sex hands?
The sex hands.
It's the new form of jazz hands.
The new form of jazz
You
hands.
cannot do jazz and sex at the same time. That's a new rule.
But you can do sex and lo-fi hip-hop.
I just spent all my money and there's a store right here. Shit.
And I think too, not to hammer the Iris Murdoch anvil hard, but I think she has some smart things to say about human empathy. One of her critiques of how ethicists approach ethics is that they see a lot of it as a matter of sort of choices in the material world. If your wife is sick, do you steal the medicine or do you not steal the medicine, right? Whereas one of the things that she proposes is talking about revisions in perception as ethical actions in and of themselves. That's something that's worthy of studying. So she gives the example of a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law, or a mother and a daughter-in-law living together, and over time, mother eventually starts to see daughter less as impulsive and more as like free thinking, or less as grating and more as just overexcited and enthusiastic. And those aren't actions; they're just little tweaks to the way that you see a person. And I think a lot of meat punks, even though on the surface it's a very physical game, you're literally a meat creature that's using your giant fist to push other things into cliffs.
Get
I want to
fucked.
hop in for a hot second and just say
Nazis.
that we're destroying some slavers by choice.
Yeah,
Good,
sweet,
yes.
good.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I am. That was absolutely
yeah,
my choice.
I sure hope we are.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I think Meat Punks is good at sort of treating non-physical actions, non-material actions, as ethical choices that are of themselves sort of worthy of study and looking closely at. Like, am I going to stop tweaking at Brad's perception of Brad's own gender is just as important as which of these guys am I going to punch into a cliff.
Yee.
Yee.
Yee. Also, Heather is cheering on us fucking up the slavers.
Good. So back to the rock thing. From an anthropological perspective, the closest that I can directly speak to is oh no, I'm not letting these fuckers escape.
Wait, can you give us a quick update on like what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, so I'm fighting these slavers. They have a little drone ship that's coming around me. You see their health up at the top corner over here. They're down to 3 pips. And because they're down a lot, they're about to try to escape.
Mm-hmm.
In order to keep that from happening, I either need to destroy their engines or incapacitate their pilot.
I would go for the engines.
Which is what I'm doing right now. Because other ships, I might be okay if they escape. These ones, I want them destroyed. Fuck, they left. And then as I shoot a missile at them. Say Levy, I suppose.
Levy, I suppose.
He's fucking smart ass.
Heather asks if we've played Into the Breach.
I love Into the Breach. I am relatively early in it. I've only played with 2 crews, but I've won with both of them. I've just unlocked the 3rd one. It's been a while since I've played it. Into the Breach is good stuff, and I would say, whereas this tries to give you a lot of choices as to sort of the kind of spacefarers you want to be, if you want to be the I'm just in it for myself, episode 4 Han Solo, I'm just a fucking mercenary.
Oh no, I'm thinking of how bad Solo was again.
You don't have to remember that movie.
What movie? I didn't know that.
The last scene though,
Wait.
where he gambles the ghost of his dead partner
Wait.
in a poker game.
What movie? I don't know what you're talking about. They've never made a live action Solo movie.
Yeah, only the animated one. You spot a small rebel ship nearby. It seems to have been refitted
Only
for
the puppet
transport
show.
rather than combat. It does not seem to want to engage you and your ship. Demand the surrender of their goods or avoid the ship.
Avoid the ship.
If they don't seem interested in contact.
They stay outside your weapon's range and eventually jump away.
Wait. What if they were slavers?
Well, we can't just every
That's-
ship that we pass by be like, what if these people are secretly enslaving people?
Yeah.
Like if we have
I think it was like we just had a slave
Yeah.
ship run away and now we
Yeah.
see another ship that's like transport nearby. I'm like,
if we get the faintest whiff that someone is a slaver, I'm like fully down for blasting them out of the sky.
yeah.
But
Mass
like
blast.
I just need
we
to
can't
have
just
more
like
faith.
assume slaver until
Yeah.
Proven not.
proven not slaver.
Yeah.
An unarmed Zoltan transport vessel is slowly making its way towards the beacon here. They hail, "This is a Zoltan peace envoy. We carry no weapons or shielding and rely on the mercy of others to communicate our message. Attack them, hear them out, or leave.
Hear him out.
They sound like Space
We
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Take your silence for interested contemplation." They
I
talk
wanted
at
to
length-
say something. Why did we just sit there awkwardly?
They talk at length about peace and harmony, but either it's beyond your simple mind or it's all nonsense.
Like John Lennon's Imagine. A song that I hate.
They finish, "Please spread the word of enlightenment to those that have not heard. Once you have, contact our brethren." They transmit coordinates of their so-called brethren, added a quest marker to your map. Continue. Neither of you two would understand, not understand, but neither of you two would know this reference, but I was giving them the voice of the human spokesperson for the aliens in XCOM 2.
What if I had just been like, it's time for Ed?
Honestly,
Oh,
that's also the voice that
Cowboy
I have in my head
Bebop
for
Ed.
Ed.
Yeah.
Well, no, not Cowboy Bebop Ed.
Which Ed?
Sand eating Ed. Meatpunks Ed.
Oh, that
Pirate
Ed.
shirt.
If
I just
it's
thought
fun.
because like that Ed is also very good at communicating with life forms that are maybe difficult to communicate with, and is also a space pirate or a space cowboy.
An advanced rebel automated ship remains stationed near a small rebel space station. However, without functioning sensors, it is impossible to tell what is inside. We can attack the ship or avoid provoking it.
Do we want to do one less than moral thing and just attack a random ship for funsies?
It's automated. It is a drone.
Okay.
Here's the thing: if we attack it,
Drone's bad.
if we attack it for funsies, we run the risk of other less drone ships backing up once we start attacking it. Like it sends a distress signal, and suddenly we're
Let's
dealing
just
with
do
more
it
ships.
quickly.
See, this goes back to obfuscated design in video games. Part of the, I will say, sadness that I feel in knowing as much as I do about video games and video game design is I know too much about video games to be entirely unaffected by knowledge of their design. And so I know something like this, and I know in procedurally generated games such as this, like, it's probably not going to matter in sort of larger ship design if we, like, it's not going to matter in regards to other decisions other than the health that we deplete here, there we are. Scrap we might gain here, the material that we gain is the piece that would change things more than
geopolitical effects or whatever.
Yeah.
You had a rock monster thing.
I'm gonna get to that in a moment. Because the obfuscated design is something that I was talking about earlier. Where I think Meatpunks is really good with its obfuscated design in a way that I just didn't see feels too dismissive. Was reluctant to accept the full extent of because of how I know video games are designed, and especially small indie video games. You arrive at the location specified by the peace-loving Zoltan, but the only thing nearby is a rebel ship closing in fast. We found you, you're not getting away this time. Attack or attempt to hail them. We have pretty good shields. I say we attempt to hail them.
Yeah. That means pelt them with little ice cannons, right?
Open communication. I can't believe there's anything you could say that would save you. The rebellion must be destroyed. So there's rebels, and there's the rebellion must destroy those that are still loyal to the obsolete Federation. There we go. Perhaps there could be a reconciliation of our ideals without war. Surrender, your ultimate destruction is inevitable. We've left scores of rebels destroyed in our wake. Your rebellion is causing millions of deaths. Your beliefs are dividing the galaxy. Unity is the only option. This is a context-heavy set of responses for a game that is very open-ended.
I also just realized that we're battling against the First Order.
Yeah.
That does mean we'll probably see Adam Driver shirtless, so like upsides to everything.
Okay. Not my type. I'm also ace.
This is a toughie. Especially in the context of the peace-loving folks from before, and how that might play into this system, which is what I mean when I say I know systems too much to try and act without knowledge of how they might be operating in this context. Because I say, okay, so this is an encounter that specifically we've gone down the path of these peace-loving things. This, I don't think, is a screen that comes up otherwise. I've not seen this screen come up otherwise. So it seems like it is linked to that. So either reconciliation of our ideals without war, or your beliefs are dividing the galaxy. Unity is the only option. Feel more correct because of the context of that.
Yeah, I feel you.
And then going back to something like Meatpunks, we have pieces of narrative. You tried to sip the wrong thing.
No, there was a thing under my nail.
Okay.
No, like actually.
No, I believe you.
Yeah.
It just looked funny. In the context of Meatpunks, especially with character decisions like this, or even like, oh, what conversation are we going to follow? Both conversations are still being had, and the repercussions of both conversations are still played out. But the writing is also smart enough that we get the gist of some pieces of things, or things that we haven't seen directly feel like broader world building, without feeling like, oh, we're just not in on the joke.
And what's interesting about that design choice, too, is it's not even a choice of what you want to happen. It's a choice of what do you think is most worth you having direct knowledge of, you directly perceiving.
Yeah.
These things are going to happen either way, but you're making a value decision based on what do I want to make sort of a direct connection with? What do I need to be in the room for?
I have a little more thoughts on that, but first we should decide on this.
Yeah.
We don't know what these rebels are really about, but they do still seem like, especially with the specific terminology of rebel versus federation, aka the Union, does seem, I will say, lightly Confederate coded.
The Union forever defending
donate to our Patreon and I could get actual heavy-duty foot straps that my chair company was supposed to pay for like 6 goddamn months ago. But instead, I'll just have my feet pop out of my chair every 25 seconds.
Yo, I can go to the Walmart and buy Velcro.
Do you think that would work better than these?
That's Velcro.
But, like, there are straps you can buy that have, like, actual buckles on them so that they keep your foot in.
Hashtag true.
I'm not sure.
The one that I want to go for that seems like the most sort of in between, okay, so this is a mission about peace and also acknowledging they do bad stuff, is rebellion is causing millions of deaths, beliefs are dividing the galaxy, unity is the only option, which still feels...
that still feels like we're going to kill you. Like, if
It
your
also-
beliefs are dividing the galaxy...
And we remove you.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah, I also feel like if they are very Confederate coded and like very separatist coded, then I feel like they're going to, like, if/when we're like, unity is the only option, they're gonna be like, fuck that. So, and like, I think I'm also sort of, because we've been bandersnatched, like, earlier.
I like that as a verb, thank you.
I feel like we're gonna, like, try to do 1, or we're gonna try to do 3, and we're gonna try to do them in peaceful ways, and they're gonna be like, no.
Well, but I still want to see that so I can be mad at this game.
Should we do 1?
Yeah.
Our ideals are too different to be easily reconciled. You think this could end any way but war. 1, the galaxy is huge. You can find a place for your ideals elsewhere without causing this destruction. Or 2, true progress can only be achieved without bloodshed.
I like 2 a lot better because 1 implies that peaceful deportation is a thing, which hints very often no. If you tell people to move somewhere and then they don't want to move...
Making them move is an act of violence.
Yes.
Yeah, I still have problems with 2, but this seems better. Suddenly, all indications of the rebel ship fade away, and a Zoltan fleet appear around your ship. The captain of the ship you met previously materializes on your bridge. Although your methods are crude and most certainly ineffective, we just unlocked a new ship. It is clear you took our previous meeting to heart. If your ship represents the Federation's willingness to adapt, we shall do what we can to aid in their fight.
Wow, that's actually real good.
34 scrap, a new weapon, and a Zoltan cruiser has been unlocked and added to the hangar.
But I also, and maybe this is just a general game design point and not even so much at this game point, I sort of don't like the if you do good things you will get more stuff thing.
Yeah.
Extrinsic motivation
Is bad because then it decreases intrinsic motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Because then when we're getting full on into educational psychology now, but Ronan just did a very impressive high kick. Just did a high kick in spirit because if I did an actual high kick I would die. Diego laughed too loudly at that and is now going to hell. So, but yeah, in case you didn't know, our entire education system is built on a psychological swamp wherein if you reward people for doing things that they already like to do, once the rewards go away, they will like to do them less. And if you reward people for doing things that they hate, once you reward them for doing that, they will also like to do those less. So essentially all punishments and rewards damage the human capacity to be intrinsically motivated to do stuff because you've learned how to want to do it. Like the analogy I always use for people that aren't immersed in educational theory is, so when you were a little child, you probably did not like to brush your teeth because you didn't understand that, dental hygiene is a thing. And it was just putting this weird thing in your mouth. At least I very much didn't like putting a weird thing in my mouth for no discernible purpose. But so if your parents then say either, do this and we'll give you a cookie, or do this or we're taking away your PlayStation. So rewards or punishments. You're only going to do those things for as long as the rewards or punishments are in effect. The end goal being to get you to want to do them just because you like the feeling of your mouth being clean. Just because you like how it feels to do said thing. So I think a lot of, and I mean punishment reward, like gameplay systems are super, super popular between your Infamouses and your Undertales, et cetera, but like, sometimes I feel weird about rewarding people monetarily for doing good things in their video games, because what if you do the right thing and you don't get a shiny new gun for it? You just do it because it's good.
Yeah.
Our new laser is cool.
And like especially like with like when you get rewarded in a game for like when ostensibly a game is trying to teach you to do good things and that like you should do good things, but it's not going to reward good things because of that theory. So when you do bad things, you get more loot and like that kind of thing. So you do get rewarded for doing like quote unquote bad things or more.
But hopefully you feel bad about them and stop doing the thing.
Yeah, and it's like the like ludonarrative dissonance, I believe, is the term that Folding Ideas that Dan Olson used. Also, I really like Heather said that's something I spend a lot of time thinking about. TBH, being a good person is hard, and I feel like games don't really acknowledge it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Meatpunks, while like imperfect as all pieces of art are, really does try to grapple with that head on and messily, which is like how I like it.
Yeah, and even like there were different flavors of good because in the
that was just a flavor noise.
I'm going to have you hold your thought for a second. We've arrived at the Zoltan Research Facility. They say they're researching genetic distortion due to stasis sleep and prolonged FTL travel. They ask if your crew has time to undergo a few scans. Shall we participate in their study?
Yeah,
Yes.
I want to get frozen.
As soon as you dock, pirates burst on board and a hostile ship appears on the radar. You hear the Zoltans yelling in the distance, "We're being held hostage!" So it isn't entirely their fault. Continue. Oh god, that's a fuck ton of pirates! Shit.
I'm also like so mad about
Diego
this.
reading the character page for One Piece.
I'm also like really mad about this because I'm someone who like I did research this semester and like that kind of thing, and it's so hard to get participants. Like,
You mean you can't just go up to their starship and quasi-threaten them?
Fucking
they
shit.
didn't, because they didn't quasi-threaten us. It was the pirates, and so like having it be within this game, like how dare you try to take part in this scientific process? I'm like, meh.
This is the
Like,
end game of the anti-vaxxers. They go up to kids that are being vaccinated with their starship, and they're like, put that needle in that child and we'll blow you to smithereens. Anti-vaxxers with starships is pretty much my nightmare. Also my favorite Nicki Minaj song.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. No, Jones. Go on, Jones.
Okay, who the fuck is Jones? Quick
He's
question.
the NG.
He's the new engine.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Did he die?
He's very close to death.
Well, but at
and
least I know who he is now.
things are going really fucking bad.
If you want a really good book on the phenomena that myself and
Phenomena.
nice, the phenomena that Ron and I are talking about, Punished by Rewards by Elfie Khan. It is not softcore porn. I super promise you, it is not erotica. It is about how our education system, through a complex series of rewards and punishments, teaches people never to be intrinsically motivated about something. So it's almost like there's not something inherent to the millennial condition that just makes them not do things, but rather seeing the economy lit on fire and school built on meaningless pyramids of punishments and rewards, like, decreases human beings' conceptions of themselves as moral people that can make choices on their own.
Yeah, and particularly, like, thinking about, like, I was about to just, like, name them off. I'm from Pennsylvania, so my brain was like, PSSAs, or, like, which is...
Pick your acronym
or,
for your shitty standardized test.
Or the Keystone exams, but, because those were, like, the standardized tests for my area.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Did
like,
you just, like, get really drunk and then answer a couple questions? Is that a Keystone exam?
No, Pennsylvania is the Keystone State.
Did you guys, quick question. Did you guys invent Keystone Light?
No, only Keystone Heavy.
No, like, actually. Does Keystone Light come from Pennsylvania?
I'm gonna look that up while I sort of finish
Because
my thought.
if so, your two worst exports, your three worst exports, Paul Ryan...
Ronan Weber.
No. Paul Ryan, Scott Walker, and Keystone Light.
Wait, we spawned Scott Walker?
Isn't Scott Walker a Pennsylvania? Oh wait, no. I'm confusing Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. I'm an idiot.
Josh and I are not the same person. My roommate Josh is from Wisconsin and has a poster about how terrible Scott Walker is. And
Yeah, I totally just ignore that entire...
Bit.
But, so PSSAs and, like, the Keystone exams.
Where you get drunk and fellas get drunk.
Honestly, looking back on it and, like, being able to drink now, like, God, I wish. But, like, they were always, like, considered high stakes, and, like, they were very much, like, they would tell us that they would affect our teachers' like performance scores and
Which
like
is
that kind of
gross.
thing. The fact that
Wow.
the fact that they told us
If
that
you fail this, your teacher will be unemployed.
Well,
Do
like-
it for their children.
well, like compared to like being told that it's like us and like being like lied to about what the purpose is, like kind of thing, or like, but like from a very young age, we were regularly like told do well or bad stuff happens.
I want Macklemore to do an emotional song about how when he was in the 3rd grade, he took the piece out.
When I was gay, I thought I was in the 3rd grade. But
That is where my understanding of math currently is as a gay. I have to take a math test before I become a teacher, and I'm sad about it.
But
I
like
haven't done a geometry and
it was like everyone took the exams at our school. Like most people took the exams, but like everyone knew it was bullshit, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone really resented it, and it was like pretty like on the face, like everyone widely despised how the exams worked and like how we were supposed to behave while other people were taking the exams. Cause like I remember the Keystones, like you only took those if you were in 11th grade, and so.
because that's the drinking age.
But
it
it was like a 2-hour delay schedule, and so like if you showed up on time, because the buses still had to run on like a full day schedule so that the 11th graders could get in. So if you took a bus or you were unable to like get a ride or like walk for a 2-hour delay schedule,
Get me.
you had to. Okay. You had to like show up at the normal time at 7:30 and then wait until about 11 usually. And it would usually be like it would be a 2-hour delay schedule, but it would go even longer.
Yeah, and then
Like because
after waiting several soul-draining hours,
then you
had to
go do
take a
class.
test.
Well, no,
Oh.
because that was when everyone else. That was when the 11th
Oh, yeah, I
graders
get
were
you
taking
now.
an exam, and like even if like you like I forget there was like a weird intricate way. Oh, depending on what level you were at mathematically, once you took geometry, algebra 2, I can't remember, but like once you took like a certain level, regardless of whether you were in 11th grade or not, it was meant to be like 11th grade typical, but you would take the exam once you hit that level mathematically. So if you were moving faster than people, like if you were like on a slightly faster track, then you would take it at a younger age. And so, like, if you had already taken that exam, or if you, or like something like that, you would just sit and like they'd put you in like the gym or the library or the auditorium, and you just sit there for 2 hours and do nothing. Like there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was.
You'd think they could at least put a movie on or something?
They refused to, because it was ostensibly supposed to be that you were studying, that you were like doing work for your class, like your classes.
Hey, I have a question. Should we just like run away from these fools?
Yes.
Are they on a hill?
Too niche.
Keystone Beer is a product of the Molson Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. It was first.
Oh, so it's your fault.
Yeah.
It was first introduced in Chico, California, in September 1989.
89.
Keystone can be found in canned, kegged, and occasionally bottled
Wait,
form.
that works. That scans with chili can be served with cheese.
Chili can be served with cheese.
Okay.
Can you please try it?
I don't know what y'all.
Oh, you don't know chili can be served with cheese?
No, I don't.
We cannot stop the stream to show you chili can be served with cheese. However, immediately after the stream, I have some magic to bring into your life.
Heather,
Okay.
remind us about that later.
Harass us on Twitter.
All right.
In the chat. Ooh, a store.
That Keystone can be found in canned, kegged, and occasionally bottled form with 4 point. Wait, what am I reminding you of? Who am I harassing?
So, Wendy's did these training videos that, because it was like the late 80s, early 90s, were set to, I don't want to call them raps, just general synth beats. There's Hot Drinks, which is their liquid training video.
No, because they have hot drinks and cold drinks.
I've not heard cold drinks, holy shit! There's apparently hot drinks and cold drinks, and also chili can be served with cheese. Is there one for just like solid food, like regular hamburgers?
I don't think so.
But like that's what Wendy's is known for.
At least not that I've seen.
I love that there's the first suggested YouTube video when you Google Keystone Light. It's Keystone Light versus Coors Light. Are they the same beer?
They both come from Colorado.
That's most people's reductive analysis of American politics. Right?
Oh shit.
Somehow you can't say that both Keystone Light and Coors are shitty without somebody being like, "Are you saying they're the same beer?" No, I'm saying we should probably not drink either, and if we're going to drink at least one, we should vigorously yell at one until it improves in taste, and now this metaphor is falling apart. Okay. Imagine if you could just yell at things to make them taste better.
Okay, a dilemma. So I want to...
Are you a prisoner?
I want to hire one of these folks, or really the only one that I could hire is Nikki Brecken, who's really good at onboard combat, something that we have
Historically been bad for.
I mean, we're historically dead, though. Like, these are new people, right?
Yeah.
So, like, we're not good or bad at anything, really.
No, but we successfully put away some of the other folks. So we have this pike beam, which hasn't been super helpful, and this other laser that we just got. And we only have enough power to power one of these. And I kind of want to sell the pike beam in order to hire Nikki.
Yeah.
Nick.
Like if it's worse than the one we have, then it'll be funny. If it's better than the one we have, then it'll be like good.
Cool.
So either way, entertaining stream.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Entertaining stream. That is what we are. Do people not know Kenny Rogers?
No.
No?
No.
Islands in the Stream?
Don't know.
Is that a country song?
No. Ish. I would say no. Other people would probably say yes and be wrong.
Rock controlled or pirate controlled?
Rock control, because then you can get back to talking about rock people.
Okay, so an anthropological. We weren't in the middle of something, were we?
We were in the middle of hot drinks. Excuse me.
That's not. Okay, so in anthropology, the main method of ethnography is participant observation, where you immerse yourself in a culture for, depending on where you are, somewhere between 6 months and 2 years.
Can you define ethnography for future stream folks that might not know what that term is?
Ethnography is the main form of sort of anthropologic description of current cultures. Oh, here we are. Here's an interesting one. You see the Zoltan merchant and ask about his wares. He responds, "Sorry, but it took years to gain their trust. I can't be seen communicating with you. I hope you understand." He cuts communications.
Where's on first?
You mean J-Dog?
If you ever call me J-Dog, I will gut you like a fish.
No. This character is named J-Dog. You see, he's right there next to our dude, and Jones, and Brecken.
Can we rename two of our friends Jones and Brecken? Can we rename the forthcoming Fast and Furious movie Hobbs and Shaw to Jones and Brecken? One of the last things I want to do with my roommate before we graduate it's okay, it's alright, is watch
Oh God.
Osmosis Jones, and he refuses to because he
Coward?
is a coward
Yeah.
and also thinks bodily fluids are strange and weird.
I mean, that part is also true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also it's like a white blood cell with a goatee.
It's a hot white blood cell.
Somebody wants to fuck that blood cell.
It's not me.
I'm not implying it's you. I'm just saying out
am.
there in this grand
Did you just say that you are?
Yeah.
in this grand human experience, there's
Thanks, Diego.
at least one person that wants to fuck the blood cell and at least one person that wants to fuck the pill.
Oh, fucking.
Okay, ethnography, immersing in cultures.
Yeah.
To quote Heather Flowers, yeah, Diego. What does ethnography mean?
So
The people want to know, by which I mean our 100% of our revenue stream would like to know.
So shit.
No. I refuse.
Not on command. You don't extrinsically motivate me enough.
I have the intrinsic motivation to piss on command if you would like me to.
I'm fine at the moment, but only at the moment.
Next time there's fires, tell me and I can Gulliver's Travels that bullshit.
What does that mean?
Okay, there's this great part in Gulliver's Travels, like an early 1700s novel by Jonathan Swift, wherein actually this weirdly maps onto ethnography. He gets into this new country where everyone is, I think, a 16th of his size, so they're all tiny, tiny people.
Yeah.
And he is a large boy.
Big
this
boy.
is the exact quote. And he notices that a building is on fire. And he's like, "Oh my God, what do I do? How do I do this?" So he decides he's just gonna take his dick out and piss on the fire to put the fire out.
Like a reasonable person.
And like expects that the town is going to love him and thank him for this, for saving one of their important sort of cultural like artifacts and shit.
Except he just pissed on it.
Except he just pissed on it and also exposed his dick in public, for which everyone is understandably very angry at this man. So he is then everybody holds like tiny rubber bands and pieces of string, and like the entire town like affixes him to the ground that way.
So that's the thing that happens in the like movie Gulliver's Travels.
Is Jack Black in that?
Yeah.
I want to know the casting meeting that was like, you know who we need for Gulliver's Travels? Jack Black.
But like, my question, because I have never seen this movie, is why was
Can we
he
call him
in
Jackson
trouble?
Blackson?
Why was Jackson Blackson in trouble? Because I'm assuming that it was not for public exposure.
I mean,
Because this was a version of Gulliver's Travels aimed at children.
At babies, at literal babies. Shit.
honestly, you could adapt 85% of Gulliver's Travels into like a children's storybook and be fine. But maybe I also just have weird ideas of what children are emotionally ready for.
I feel like, for the most part, children tend to be like pretty emotionally ready for like many things,
Yeah.
many more things than we believe them
Yeah,
to be
I think
emotionally
our bar
ready
is generally too low, but that doesn't mean there isn't like a too high.
Yeah.
for. Yeah,
And I worry about the too high sometimes.
yeah.
But you're right that our bar is like painfully low.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
ethnography is then a method to describe cultures after usually developed by we just died.
Hell yeah.
Heather's never gonna learn what ethnography is.
No, we're gonna go to the hangar. We're gonna look at the pretty new ship that we have, and we are going to just talk about ethnography for a hot second and why that little snippet is very interesting.
And that being why Diego, so that Diego does not have to worry about punching and talking smart.
Yeah. Usually, ethnography is participant observation is key because of both the participation as well as the observation. Prior to that, the connection between the two was never really big, and it's the fact of combining that adds a new layer. For example, really the main method before this was called armchair anthropology, wherein anthropologists back in Britain or France or the US would write letters to colonial officers in whatever place they wanted to study and say, "Oh, can you ask the locals these sets of questions?"
That's hilariously bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And essentially do surveys that way. It's so bad. So there's both translation errors, there was errors in who gets to be talked to, all of this jazz. I just wiped my face because I was thinking about armchair anthropology. So participant observation then is immersing yourself in a culture to embed yourself in such a way that you can pick up on the things that not only they wouldn't think to answer, or that you wouldn't think to answer, but you can develop new questions that you wouldn't think to ask by understanding the workings of a culture.
But then that comes with its own new set of obligations and challenges.
Yes. But in regards to the snippet of dialogue that we saw, we have the question of there's only one layout. That's a shame. That's a cool ass looking ship though.
It's a cool looking ass ship.
Ass ship.
Why are you making noises as if you're remotely surprised?
That wasn't surprised. That was just disappointed.
No,
Astra is here.
Yeah, Astra came
I'm
downstairs.
not. I'm not here. I came downstairs to retrieve pizza.
So part of the need for participant observation to be so long is if you walk into a place, especially a place that has been historically colonized, for example, the places that anthropology has studied for, I'll say 100 years.
For longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, the main divide between early sociology and early anthropology was that sociology studied Western cultures and anthropology studied non-Western cultures. So sociologists were able to go door to door in London and hand out surveys and say, "Oh, oi, governor, how's your water?"
Can you please keep out this bit for a little bit? I know it has no relevance to the actual education part, but I really want you to keep impersonating a British surveyor.
Oh, yes, water's like this. Oi, Governor. Oh, thanks for the water talk. How far's the well? Oh, yes, the well's about 12 kilometers, or maybe it's miles, because maybe in the 1800s we still use miles. I don't remember. Oh, Governor, can you read yet? Yes, it's the 1800s. We know how to read. Oi, Gendo.
Oi, Gendo! Oi, Gendo!
See what
Your mom's a slag!
See what you're missing if you don't support us on Patreon.
Also,
Are you starting something?
Oi, stop, mate! You better stop it, mate!
Mr. Obama! No, not starting. You starting something.
Oi, Mom, I can't come home till like 5 in the morning.
Why?
Why? Because I'm hanging out with my lads and you're fucking
Please, that's why. Oi, lads, how long is this gonna take? The footy's about to be open.
Also,
Fucking
Heather's...
hell, lad, he's not even scratched. I dropped like £5 on that.
I feel like a twat! Astra, Heather says sorry for making you a demon in my video game.
What?
Astra.
Yeah.
In Meatpunks.
Huh? Yeah?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So in anthropology then, it's instead, Oi, Governor, I'm writing you this letter to say, ask your brown people how they get water.
And then the person who was colonizing all
Comes
of
out with the
brown people-
bullwhip and says, hey, so you might see where some trust issues might have formed between.
I mean, maybe if their accents were just a little better, they could have avoided that.
I'm going to be honest, that was likely not entirely their fault. That was likely mostly Diego's fault.
Sorry, you're making a serious point.
And so, even in places where anthropology doesn't have the same reputation as it does in the Americas, which is also largely racist, where it does in the non-Western world, which is, first of all, a problematic phrase, but semantically sort of what makes, not what makes sense, but what is accepted feels weird, but what comes across clearest. And where anthropologists come across as colonizers, it takes a while to build trust, but also it takes a while to ask more interesting questions. Because at first, when you just have essentially culture shock, and you're saying like, oh, like, this all is so weird and different. I'm gonna just, while talking, I'm gonna mindlessly play.
Hey, you ever try and push a rope?
No,
It doesn't go well.
I'm gonna mindlessly play some Risk while I'm talking, so that way there's something interesting going on screen.
Wait, Risk?
Yeah,
Like the board game?
yeah.
I'd play Risk with you. What the fuck? How
It's
did
too
I
late.
not know
It's too late.
No, I mean like after the stream or like
Later.
yeah. I didn't know you had Risk. I fucking love
Don't we
Risk.
own just like a copy of Risk?
Down there? No, we actually don't.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Ben would last get it.
No,
Too
we
risky.
looked for one.
No one's
Hey,
gonna.
hold on. None of this matters. Did you know they're rebooting VeggieTales?
Wait, what? Hold on. Okay. All right. My foot is firmly out of the foot plate. What?
Sorry, I just had to confirm that it was, and it was very funny.
It was what?
Out of the foot plate.
Yeah. No, it is. I wouldn't lie to you about that.
Foot plate really gets you going.
So I learned that VeggieTales is getting a reboot by seeing the fact that Kira Buckland, famous voice actor, has been cast in the VeggieTales reboot.
As Laura Carrot,
I don't know as who, she hasn't said. I think it's a secret, but you know,
I need to know.
Kira Buckland, famous voice of 2B from Nier Automata, cast in the VeggieTales.
I'm gonna fist on the table, say that she's.
You're gonna fist someone on the table?
Please stop.
In front of my salad?
I'm gonna firmly guess that she's playing Laura Carrot, who I think in a lot of ways is the character with the most pathos in VeggieTales. Because she's one of the only characters in which uncertainty and doubt creep through. At some point in our lives, we are all of us Laura Carrot.
That was very Rachel Held Evans of you.
Oh, shit! Rachel Held Evans is a phenomenal person, human being, religious figure, who passed away today?
Early today.
If you have a theological bent to you, and even if you don't, she might prove to be incredibly useful and restorative and therapeutic to you.
Particularly in terms of religious trauma.
Yes. Speaking of religious trauma, so Laura Carrot. So
I was gonna say, so speaking of religious trauma and then going through anthropology again.
Oh, okay. So speaking once more.
So with this lack of trust through things like this, it makes sense for someone to then say, hey, to get where I am today, I have had to immerse myself in this culture in such a way that means that I have no devotion to you at this moment. And I like the sort of acknowledgement in how it's played off in the game of like, you nod and move along. You both know that this is how this moment not has to go, but
you both know
in
that
that
this is
space
the
and
most
time.
constructive way for it to go in that moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to, and I have not read nearly enough Ant shit to do this effectively, but I want to go and read a bunch of Ant shit, and then prop this up against Thomas Merton's The View from Nowhere, which is critiquing how most media organizations cover most tragedies even within their own country. I've been thinking a lot about the role that, and objectivity is probably the wrong word, but distance and
Objectivity.
yeah, like you don't want none of it because you want people to be able to live their lives, but you don't want so much of it that real flesh and blood, suffering, living, loving human people are becoming sort of a network of symbols for you.
Yeah.
And walking that tightrope has always been a really interesting both goal and thing to study for me.
You would absolutely adore Paul Farmer. I think everyone should read Paul Farmer.
I mean, Paul Farmer is incredible.
Yeah.
Because he is the one that we watched the documentary of.
Yeah.
I made you all watch a documentary about Paul Farmer.
I want him to be my friend.
I do too.
If he wants to, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, Paul Farmer, if you see this video.
Listening.
Hey Paul, I know you're a big fan.
Oh, let's play.
He's gonna be our second patron.
I know that
It's the only way to top Heather. It's just go straight
to Paul Farmer.
No, we're gonna find patrons on like an individual basis. We're gonna do campaigns to target specific people. And just
let's go for the Medici family.
Oh Jesus. You know, like that the McElroy brothers will be in Trolls 2 podcast. I feel like we should have separate podcast series for like Paul Farmer will be our next patron, and then just like Emerald Lagasse will be our third patron. We're just hand curating a list of people who not only do we want to support us, they will support us if given enough time and persistence.
If you would like to start this podcast series, I am more than willing to do this.
Is Heather reacting to any of this, or?
This is just the Maria Garcia episode of Nathan for You again. She also earlier said, yeah, the new VeggieTales is wild. The trailer reminds you exactly
There's a trailer?
how Christian it is.
Hold on, there's a trailer.
It's on Facebook. And only Facebook as far as I can tell.
I'm going to say, are there any wrap-up thoughts that we want before sort of ending this stream? Anything to wrap up our Post-Ludum of Meatpunks? Anything to wrap up in terms of, fuck it, if we want to talk about VeggieTales for another minute? to make sure that I know how our conversations as people go, so that we come to something of a conclusion.
Yeah. I think that an interesting question for me that I ask a lot about writing, but also increasingly game design, is there's a lot of ways in which the creation of the thing is a pretty solitary act. But I think the choices that we made in Meatpunks and the experience that we had in Meatpunks is probably significantly different than if I had just been playing it in my room at 2 a.m., like, alone, making all the decisions. I think it's a very good game to play with other people. By with, I mean both physically in meat space and with over, like, the internet and talking about it. Because I think it tells you a lot about what individual people value and cherish. And, like, even two people who on paper have a near identical set of, political views, come to those views through different routes and different means and prioritize different things. And so I think one of the values of extremely careful, extremely engaging art, which I think Meatpunks is definitely a really good fucking example of, it allows us to sort of separate out those tightly wound yarn balls of opinion and talk about why do we believe that we should make the choices that we make. So I'm really thankful not only to have had Meatpunks in my life, but to have played it in a context where I was hashing different choices out with different people and getting to see Diego die 75 times.
That's the real joy of it.
Yeah.
That's the Marie Kondo thing that sparks joy there.
Yeah.
That reminded me of something that I wanted to say earlier, but I'd forgotten. Something that I think is cool about Meatpunks that I think so the going with different storylines and essentially what conversations with different friends do you want to encounter is something that Night in the Woods does too.
A game that so many people have told me to play and I have not done yet.
It's very good and I would like to go back to it, particularly because there's an expansion that I have not played through yet. But additionally, that is a game where there is so much between the character interactions, and there's so much that is not just these decisions and storylines that makes me not want to play through it again just to see those other storylines, because then I have to go through this section again, and I have to do that piece again, and I have to do all of these other things again that would be the same just to get these brief moments of sort of divergence and reconvergence. Whereas in Meatpunks, it feels a lot more worthwhile to go back to. This is a game that I can imagine myself playing through again just for the experience of seeing where this dialogue tree goes, seeing where this conversation between these two people goes. And I think that that's real neato.
Yeah, and I found myself in the process of playing / sort of captioning Meatpunks to be sort of implementing what gets discussed quite often in my day-to-day life, where the way that we approached Meatpunks together inherently influenced in some way and sort of changed how I approached the rest of my life, which was really good. And there were particular moments in this semester where I kind of needed that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
one of the things that I try to do when I'm teaching 6th or 8th graders, one of the things that I'm going to try to continue to do when I'm teaching high schoolers in a year, Jesus Christ, is not necessarily being, what is this book about? Because I think we ask that question so much that it's kind of a limp, septic kind of question. And more so, how are you going to use this in your life, or how is this sort of bleeding or overlapping into your life in ways that you didn't expect? I think it's very good to be conscious of that, because ultimately if the things you watch and play and read aren't altering yourself by small degrees as a person, then like you're allowed to change your media diet. Like you should be engaging with things that feel restorative or somehow altering to you.
Yeah.
And I think Meatpunks, particularly Meatpunks communally, has done that. Although now I would like to officially announce that I will not be playing any further sequels to Meatpunks until a Meatpunks VeggieTales crossover is confirmed.
Oh no.
Called Meatpunks/VeggiePunks.
E-punks.
No.
I know it might be hard to get the rights from whoever currently owns VeggieTales, but given that Heather is clearly going to be deliriously rich and famous someday, because we live in a true meritocracy where talent is rewarded with adequate health benefits. Oh shit!
Also valid, it's in the works already.
Just, if I can't punch Laura Carrot into... Actually, no, Laura's fine. It's Archibald Asparagus that really pisses me off.
The
Really
fucking-
grinds your fucking gears.
Like, imagine
Fucking
Alfred and
bourgeoisie.
Batman if Alfred just did nothing to help his hero friend.
I mean, okay.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna live.
that's... You should...
Yeah,
talk to
I
some
sure hope you
resources.
are.
And what?
No!
Gonna live.
Diego!
I said I'm not gonna, and he said I sure hope you are. Okay, I kind of get it.
You are gonna live, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Vine reference.
It's a
I kinda
really-
get it.
It's
It
a
was
really simple joke.
It was a bad Vine
It's
reference.
a real thinker. It's a real cerebral piece of media.
Then I can never get it, so...
Fucking- I'm about to die, so I guess we'll just play this game out.
Bingo.
We will pick up when season 2 launches. Whether we're gonna wait until sort of more than one episode at a time has come out, or whether we're just gonna go as they release, we'll see.
Yeah.
That is too far in the future for me to know anything.
Yeah. I don't even know how we're going to physically...
Discord exists. It's
We'll
fine.
figure it out
We'll figure it out.
through the magic of the internet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't yelling.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Y'all.
Wow, Blue really picked it up. So these are the names. I learned about this particular version of online Risk called Lux when I put that in the wrong place. When I was in Costa Rica and we played this game sometimes during lunch with my teacher and a couple of other friends. And so the names here are the names that me and my friends used. So Burma Shave was my professor, and then the other folks were.
Quick, everyone say bye to Heather.
Bye, Heather.
There.
And probably then also a goodbye to you, folks on the other side of the stream. It's been real. It's been good, and we will catch you. I almost said in the next life, but that sounds like one person is about to die.
Why one? Why
I meant to
limit
say
ourselves?
One side?
Unless you buy a Ouija board, you will not be able to see our
Luigi?
coverage of any future game.
Luigi.
Burning a Luigi board? Can you burn a Luigi board? What's up with the Luigi board game? What, is it possible to die from playing this game? Oh.